So now we have our next speaker. This is the thread that we have been having, this discussion thread all through the SevaMela. So today we have Amala to come and share about this experience. She is the founder chairperson of Blue Cross Hyderabad, honorary director of Annapurna International Film and Media. She is a trustee of Teach AIDS India and also board member of United Way. The other part of Amala, all of you know, but I want, why I have restricted myself to this is the professions that she is managing along with her volunteering work. So what she would be bringing to us today is, when all of us have a serious profession which we are engaged in, which is our bread and butter, how do you also manage time for the passion that you have? How do you manage your spirit to continue volunteer, dedicate more and more time, kind of challenges that one would face with, and how she has found some solutions to it, or she can give us some tips of how to manage it. Amala, all over to you.
Good evening, friends. I'm delighted to be here with United Way and all of you for the SevaMela. What a beautiful thought, what a beautiful event. Having said that, let me wish everybody here Happy World Animal Day. October 4th is the day we celebrate as the day for animals all over the world. So if you haven't taken a moment to think about the animals, I will request you to think about them, and when you see an animal in need, remember there's always something you can do to help it. One is you can call the Blue Cross Rescue Service, which is 32989858. If you have a pen or you have a mobile, do note it down. 32989858. I'll repeat, 32989858. If you ever see an animal that's been hit in an accident, that's lying with some disease or illness, that is being abused, you can call this number. We work from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. and our rescue ambulance will collect it. In case the ambulances are busy, we can also guide you how to bring the animal in. If you see an animal that's injured after we close, you can still bring it to the Blue Cross. It will be housed and cared for even though we are closed. So, happy World Animals Day. So SevaMela has now over 100 organizations. I'm delighted to hear that. I was born a volunteer and I'm an eternal volunteer. So how does one become a volunteer? And I think most of you here are volunteers. So I don't want to preach too much to the choir, but I will share with you a few very special things that I have learned and I feel of value that I can share with you, since I've been asked to speak on this. From my life, I had wonderful teachers and wonderful parents. I think teachers and parents have a very lasting impact on young people growing up. My teachers gave me some very valuable understanding of our ancient wisdoms in India. So the ancient wisdom says, if you have money, never hoard it. That will harm you. If you have wisdom, do not hoard it. It's as bad as hoarding your wealth. That will also harm you. So wisdom and money is to share, to care for the community and the family and the friends around you. And this is the basic philosophy in which I grew up. As we take care, my teachers taught me that as we take care of the body, the health, the appearance, the education, we also have an inner life to take care of, which is called the spiritual life. Everybody may choose a religion, but there's something beyond religion which is spiritual. And my teachers guided me in the ancient traditions, whether it's in the Bhagavad Gita, or the Quran, or the Bible, or the Buddha's teaching, which says the spiritual growth happens with dhyana, dana, seva. Dhyana, to control the mind. By controlling the mind and by purifying the mind, you stay away from negative things which can destroy you. Dana is whatever you have, you must share. And seva is give of your person. So with this education, this was the basis of the education that I grew up in, you can naturally understand why I'm an eternal volunteer. I also have wonderful parents. My father was a refugee from East Bengal. He grew up in a village in Kannauj. Fortunately, some doctor in that village felt very kindly, saw he was studying well. You know, poor refugee family. They used to study under the street lights. So he sponsored his education in IIT Kharagpur. He became a big naval officer. He retired as director naval architecture. He's 80 years, he's still working today, even after retirement. But his philosophy was, whatever money he had extra, he would give it to somebody's child for studying. I have a wonderful mother. She's sitting here in the audience. She never had any jewelry. She never talked about jewelry. She never bought any jewelry. She never spoke about jewelry. So we never had any frills or fancies at home. Whatever she had, even with her meager middle class salary, she would save and feed somebody at the birthday, or feed somebody at their anniversary. And this was by not eating out. She would say, if we go out and spend all that money, I won't be able to save, so I'll save that and I'll feed somebody. So naturally, with two beautiful parents like this, what else could I have learned? I thank my mother, I thank my father. When I was about 6 years old, I started rescuing animals. I am crazy about animals. I think they're amazing creatures. I think the planet is partly for animals and partly for human beings, and we need to include them in everything we do and speak up for them whenever we can. And I started rescuing them when I was 6 years old. I am so fortunate I have a mother like I do. She never once prevented me from bringing that injured animal inside the house. She always gave me a box. She showed me how to clean it, how to treat it, how to feed it, and how to find it a home or how to release it back after it recovered. I am so grateful. That was the life's lessons that I grew up with. So, for all of you who are parents, remember your lasting impression on your children. And those of you who are young people here, you are going to be parents in the future. Remember the lasting impression you'll have. Now, good intentions is wonderful. But along with good intentions, it's very important to know what you want to do. Yamini gave us an excellent presentation on understanding systems. You know, nobody needs to invent the wheel when we want to help. So when you find something important that you feel connected to and you want to do, set aside 3 hours a week. If you'll go 3 hours to see a cinema, I would say you must give 3 hours also to help a cause that you believe in. I would say make that appointment in your diary. This is how I do it. Make that appointment in your diary that this week 3 hours will be spent for this. And then when that time comes, put everything else away and go do it. It's only when you get into the field to do the work with your own hands, You will appreciate the difficulties. You will understand the magnitude. You will connect with that which you empathize. Whether it's Swachh Bharat mission to clean up in your community, 3 hours aside, do it. It's only until you start doing that you understand, and you will connect to others also who want to do. So there are many organizations doing good work. You can go volunteer with them. If you have the time to go volunteer with an organization. If you don't, then you can volunteer in your community itself, or you can give your professional skills. You say, I can do your designing work, I can do your writing work, I can do your communication over the email. So many things you can offer if you can't actually physically do the work. But do it, and do it, make that appointment and do it. Now, I couldn't do all that I do if I didn't have the support systems that I have. So build up support systems. Yeah? If you have friends, it's always nice to do it with friends, with like-minded people. Form a group and do it. The power of 10. What one person can do, 10 people together can do much more. Much more. So I have a wonderful group of friends, and I have all my friends are volunteers. So I have friends who are crazy about animals, and we work through the Blue Cross, through PFA, through HSI, through Animal Welfare Board, through all the animal FIAPO, to all the animal welfare groups we work. Then I have friends who love children, and we work for children along with them. I have friends who work with women empowerment, and we work together for that. And in this way, you can see the balancing is that I take away time which would be spent wastefully or wildfully or just in gossip and chatter and reading magazines. I spend that on doing work, and I meet wonderful people wherever I go. Of course, I have to admit, I have a cook, I have a driver, and I have a husband who is simply amazing. He never ever questions what I'm passionate about. In fact, he says, go do, don't worry. Even when I had when my child was small, I would take my child for all the volunteering work. And it was great because my child was exposed to it at a very young age. Later on, once he went to school, then I had more and more time to do the volunteering work. So I keep 2 days a week to volunteer. But my volunteering is not 3 hours, it's the whole day. So I have 2 specific days in the week where I volunteer, and I work 4 days a week. But like I said, I am fortunate, I have support systems to allow me to do this. So if you don't have support systems, try and think of support systems, carpooling, SevaMelas like this. You have so much more support systems. Work groups always makes things easier. Finally, I think even if you can't get away, sometimes you may have an elder in the family who needs a lot of care at home. That is also seva. Please don't think just going to an organization and working is volunteering. Taking care of an elder at home, taking care of a young person's studies, supporting them, everything comes under seva. Seva has no boundary. Seva has no discrimination. Seva has no community feeling. Seva can be done anywhere, anytime for anyone. And I think the key learning I had is mindful living. Okay, you may not have huge amounts to donate, but when you buy something that's going to support a community, like a hand-woven sari from Dastakar or any cooperative. where directly the weavers are getting the money. Think about that. I love the fact that they're giving plants. You know, a plant is oxygen, a plant is life. We're taking back oxygen producers to our home. Give things that make a difference. Give things that are going to help people improve in the quality of their life. Buy things that are thinking about the planet, that have natural dyes, that don't use chemicals, that are, made by communities who will sustain themselves. Give presents like that. Think about the planet in everything that you do. Mindful living. Eat sensibly, eat organic, buy organic, support organic farming. These are important things which, even if you don't have time to go and volunteer, you can still be a volunteer by mindful living. Having said that, today is World Animal Day. If you are a non-vegetarian, I'm inviting you to think of being vegetarian this evening. You will help a lot of animals on their special day. It's good for you, it's good for the planet, it's good for the animals. Have I missed anything else? Yes? So, very often we forget that why do we have families? Why do we work for an organization? Why are we parents? If you I hear a lot of people saying, oh, because I need companionship. I want this, and I hope, I'll get this out of the company I'm working for. But if you think as a volunteer, you will turn it around. I serve my community. I serve my family. I make my company better. I work to improve my organization. Every day in every way you can be a volunteer. You can do seva and you can make this country a wonderful place. So if you haven't started the Swachh Bharat mission, if you haven't taken up our Prime Minister's request to spend a few hours every week as a Swachh Bharat ambassador, I am requesting you today, take a couple of hours and mobilize the people in your community. Appreciate the sweepers, the GHMC sweepers. They do very hard, very menial work. If you appreciate them, they will be more motivated to keep your community clean. Give them water, allow them to use your toilets. Give them sweets on Dashera and other festivals. Appreciate them as human beings. To me, the Swachh Bharat is not just about cleaning the street, it's about cleaning up the mental attitudes we have of discrimination, of looking down on others. The day we think that cleanliness is our duty and not a sweeper's duty, that day truly India will be clean. I again must thank my mother. She had on every bathroom growing up, I would look, every bathroom had a sign that said, Gandhiji cleaned his own toilet, so can you. Till date, we clean our own toilets. Even if I go to a public toilet and it's dirty, I still clean it. And that is the attitude of a volunteer. Thank you for this opportunity. Be happy, be a volunteer. Jai Hind.
Thank you, Amala. So a lot of us have the fortune of doing things that gives us pleasure. So most of us in community development work, it is our bread and butter and it's also a passion. So it's a best opportunity. We want more people to get into community development work and also enjoy so that you don't have to divide your time. All the time that you are doing is service and which is giving you pleasure, and what you will be compromising is probably on your pay packet, that's all. So thank you so much. Amala, a small token of appreciation for you. Ramesh had to leave because he's going to Chennai, so he asked me to. Yeah.